Hello students, now we are going to learn Geography chapter number 1, our environment. What do you mean by environment? Environment means what students? So environment is the surrounding around us, an individual person or any living things that can exist in the surrounding around the thing, or you can say around any organism. That surrounding is known as an environment. You can see the definition over here. Surroundings or conditions within which an individual or organisms exist is termed as environment. The place we live in, the people and things around us, the plants, the animals, the land, the building, all are a part of our environment. Different organisms live and thrive in different environments. Means different people, or you can say any living organism, can adapt themselves in a different situation and in a different environment. Right? Thrive means what? Adaptation. Our environment is a combination of both natural and human components. So you can say that the components of environments are three: human, natural and human made. Now, the natural environment include biotic and abiotic components. Now, what are biotic components and what are abiotic components? So, biotic environment consists of biotic environment, or you can say biotic components of natural environment consist of all the living things. You can say that plants, animals and human beings, while a biotic environment consists of physical components of environment, namely air, water and land. Physical means what, students? So you can experience the exist of that thing. Okay, that is the physical. So you can say that biotic components means all the living things around the surrounding. That is the biotic environment. And what is abiotic environment? That consists of all the physical components, and that is our air, water and land. Human environment refers to the activities and creations of human beings. These include not just buildings, roads, etc., but also social, economic and political conditions. So in human environment, not only the invention of humans are added, but it also include all the human oriented activities, that is their culture, their economic activities means money related activities, their societal activities, their political activities, all consist of human environment. The term geography studies the interrelationship between human beings and the environment. And if we are learning the geography means what, students? Geography that interrelate humans with the environment. And you can see here the components of environment. First is natural and second is human. That human environment consists of two: humans and human made. In humans, what include? Social, economic and political conditions included in humans. And in human made means all the creations of humans, that are buildings, roads or anything. Okay, now first we are going to learn about natural environment. Natural environment has two components: land, water, air, which forms the physical environment, and plants and animals, which forms the biological environment. Means you can say that natural environment again has two components. First is physical environment and second is the biological environment. In the physical environment, what consists of? In the physical environment, lithosphere, that is land, hydrosphere, that is water, and atmosphere, that is the air, consist of in the physical environment. And what is in the biological environment? In the biological environment, students, we can say that biological environment means what? It is the biosphere, means where these three spheres exist. That three spheres domain is known as biosphere, where living things exist. Okay. Now, first we are going to learn about the lithosphere. Now, lithosphere means for students, lithosphere is the uppermost layer of the earth, that is the crust, and we can even say that land. And all over the earth, 29% is covered with land, right? Now, the hard outermost solid layer of the earth, which is made up of rock materials, is called the crust. Most part of it is covered with soil layer of varying depth, means deepness. The deepness of this layer is different in different areas. It is an irregular surface which extends over the continents as well as ocean beds. It doesn't mean that it is only covered on the continental lands, means in the land areas, but this particular crust layer is consistent in the ocean beds even. It includes landforms such as mountains, plateaus and plains. Means what, students? So in this lithosphere we can even include mountains, plateaus, plains means ground areas. It is a source of vegetal and mineral wealth, and on this land only we survive, right? We build our creations, we grow crops, that is the vegetal, and we dig out and we found the minerals and all the materials. Now we are going to learn about hydrosphere, and we know that hydrosphere means the water. Where the water exists, that domain is known as hydrosphere. And we also know that 70% of Earth's surface is covered with water, and from that 71%, 3% is the fresh water what we consumed, and we consumed out of 3 only 1% because it is in the form of river. Now, the realm of water, realm means what, students? Source. The source of water is referred to as the hydrosphere, means where we get the water, that particular surface is known as hydrosphere. All water bodies such as oceans, seas, rivers and lakes, etc. together form the hydrosphere. Water supports all form of land life on the earth. Fresh water is used for, now we use fresh water, right? So fresh water used for domestic agriculture, industrial purposes, and helps to generate electricity. Now, domestic means what, student? Domestic means for cooking, for bathing, for what we are using water, right? Drinking, cooking, bathing, that is the domestic use. For agriculture use, we are using water, and for industrial purpose means for factories or in the industries, even water used to generate the electricity, right? Now, ocean water, apart from producing moderating influence on climate, means what, students? जो ocean water होता है, उनकी जो flowing movement होती है, वो flowing movement से हमें क्या पता चलता है? तो climate का जो भी condition होता है, climatic conditions हम उस water flowing movement से measure कर सकते हैं. And moderating means what? Medium temperature. It also provides fruits and minerals and helps to link the different continents by serving as international trade routes. International trade routes means what, students? So sea routes. We learn in the history chapters that many ports were built for the trading purpose, right? So if ports were built for trading purpose, so that ports are connected by the sea routes only, right? Now, March 22 is celebrated as World Water Day. Now we are going to learn about the atmosphere. Atmosphere is what, students? So atmosphere is the layer of air around the earth, and even us is called the atmosphere. Earth के around जो layer है atmosphere का, air का जो layer है, that is the atmosphere, and even around us the air is present, that air is known as atmosphere. It extends up to more than 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It is held around the earth by its gravitational force. Now, around the earth, this atmosphere, the air which exists, that air present around the earth, because of whom? Because of the gravitational force. The air, which is a mixture of various gases, is useful to us in various ways. It has a thin layer called the ozone, which protect us from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. Now we all know that, right? One ozone layer exists around the earth, and that layer protect us from the harmful rays of the sun, that is the ultraviolet rays. Changes in the atmosphere result in changes in weather and क्लाइमेट मीन्स वॉट स्टूडेंट, अगर एटमॉस्फेयर में चेंजेस होता है तो वो एटमॉस्फेयर में चेंजेस होने के कारण क्या होता है, तो क्लाइमेट में भी चेंजेस आता है. क्लाइमेट इज द लॉन्ग ड्यूरेशन, ओके, लॉन्ग टाइम पीरियड के लिए जो सिचुएशन क्रिएट होती है, दैट इज द क्लाइमेट. Now we are going to learn about the biosphere. Life exists only in a narrow zone where land, water and air come in contact with each other. You can see this in the diagram. You can see this domain when land, water and air came together and formed this triangular shape. This triangular area is known as biosphere. Why? Because life exists only in this area where land is available, where water is available and where air is available. Now, this domain is called the biosphere, and this makes the earth a unique planet in the solar system. Living beings exist only in the biosphere. Now, all living organisms are interdependent as well as dependent on the biosphere for their existence. Means what students? तो बायोस्फीयर में जो लिविंग थिंग्स है, इवन एनिमल्स, राइट, तो एनिमल्स, प्लांट्स, even human beings, they were dependent and interdependent on each other, right? Human beings है तो उनको food कहाँ से मिल रहा है, तो plants से मिल रहा है. Even there are so many animals, they were carnivorous, omnivorous, right? So they were dependent on each other. The entire biosphere is composed of several distinct zones, and each zone has its own physical environment, plant and animal life, and this environment is called ecosystem. You can see the picture over here where all the living things exist and even the environment exists, right? Water, land and air is present. Then this domain is known as ecosystem, where all are interdependent on each other. All biotic organisms in an ecosystem are dependent on each other and also interact with the abiotic environment. The study of the relationship between living organism and their surroundings is called ecology. Means what student? If we are studying the ecosystem, that study is known as ecology. Ecology is a term which means our home. It is derived from a Greek word, oikos. It helps us to understand how such a wide variety of life forms depend upon non-living things and are influenced by their interaction within their environment. An ecosystem is the central feature of ecology. What did I say to you earlier? Ecosystem. If we are study about the ecosystem where all the living things exist, where three spheres make a domain, that is the biosphere, right? Atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere where came together and form a domain, that is the biosphere, and that domain where life exists, and that life exists and living, that condition is known as ecosystem, right? And that ecosystem, study of that ecosystem is known as ecology. So what is the center of ecology? The center of ecology is the ecosystem where all the things came together. Our next topic is Human environment. Human beings from the most important part of the environment. They not only interact with the environment but also modifying it according to their needs. Means human beings, they interact with environment, right? Human beings need air to breathe, right? They need food, they need water to drink, right? So they depend on environment, but they change their environment according to their need. Early man lived in the natural environment and adapted himself to the nature around him. But man today is different. His needs have grown, and in order to meet them, man has modified the environment around him. मीन्स व्हाट स्टूडेंट्स, अर्ली ह्यूमन बींग्स जो होते थे वो क्या करते थे, तो वो नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग अपने आप को अडॉप्ट करते थे. मतलब कि जैसे एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशंस होती थी वो उसके अकॉर्डिंग अपनी लाइफस्टाइल सेट करते थे. बट नाउअडेज ह्यूमन बींग्स व्हाट दे डिड, वो अपनी नीड के लिए एनवायरनमेंट को चेंज करते हैं. दे मॉडिफाई द एनवायरनमेंट, दे मेक चेंजेस फॉर देमसेल्फ ओनली, राइट. नाउ दिस हैज अफेक्टेड एंड चेंज सेवरल इकोसिस्टम. और वो किस पे इफेक्ट करेगा, दैट इफेक्ट डायरेक्टली द होल सिस्टम ऑफ लिविंग बीइंग्स. It has resulted in distributing the ecological balance and degrading the environment. Degrading means what, students? So decreasing. Because of our modification, because of our changing the environment activity, what happened? The environment decreases. Means the purity of environment decreases. Now, environmental degradation has disastrous effect. Man must be sensitive to environmental issues and learn to protect the environment. Means what, student? So man has to learn to protect the environment. He must maintain balance between natural and human environment and learn to live in harmony with the nature. He must use the resources wisely and learn to protect and preserve them for tomorrow. How they can protect the environment? So here is the solution. How they can protect the environment? So whatever the natural resources, we supposed to use them wisely so that our next generation use that resources even, right? And we can protect the environment. Judicious utilization, not exploitation. Judicious utilization means what? Proper use of any resources. If we use proper resources, अगर हम proper way में resources को use करेंगे, whatsoever we need, that much only if we use, then we are not going to exploit that. हम उसे बिगाड़ने नहीं वाले. We are not going to damage that resources, right? And we can use that leftover resources for the next use, right? Humans being equipped with greater level, exploitation is the one and only way to attain sustainable development. Sustainable development means for students, so we are using resources in a present day and even we kept in mind the think of our next generation, so that we use that resources very wisely so that our next generation use that resources evenly. That is the sustainable development. Humans being equipped with greater level of understanding and high level of intellectual capability. Intellectual capability means for student knowledge. Human being has that understanding power. Human being has that knowledge, so then they can protect the environment. They can preserve the resources for next generation. Alone can save the natural balance in the environment. It is the need of the time that we must pay attention to conservation of environment. To create awareness about environmental conservation, we celebrate 5th June every year as the World Environment Day. Why we celebrate 5th June as World Environment Day? So that people remind that we need to conserve our environment.